Hello everyone, welcome to your Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. My name is Ruben and I will be your host. Today we have a special challenge. Today we're going to be creating a design case study. This is something that a lot of young designers and people and designers that are pretty new to the industry, they don't know what to do. And today we're going to be creating a case study. We're going to talk about structure, why is it important, and all that fun stuff. All right, so hello, people in the chat. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Thanks for joining me today. So let's just get started right away, shall we? All right. So here's the challenge prompt: how to create a case study. So show off your best projects by creating an organized and engaging case study. Case studies are very, very important. Like when you're building your portfolio, you got to make sure you have different kinds of variations of projects and also different kinds of case studies. You should always be willing to take the storytelling approach, which because of case studies are very, very complex in a way, and also they are very long. They're supposed to be long, but you have to make sure when you create your case studies that it's storytelling, but at the same time also you have some visuals in there. Also you have some context of what it is that you are designing, because recruiters and every company, they're looking for, they just want to know what kind of designer are you and your design thinking and your design process, right? So that's why case studies are very, very important. So let's go into the structure of regular case study. For example, we're going to have a heading, an intro. We're going to have some introduction, the problem, the role, like your role. If you were just a designer, the UX designer, the researcher, whatever your role was on that particular project, the solution, the designs, probably the research, and also the outcome. These things are very important, and they can vary between, your case studies, right? It's not set in stones. So you can do whatever you want, but you have to make sure you tell a story through your project. It's very, very important. All right, so let's get started right away because we have a bunch of stuff to do here. We have some, and this is basically one of my case studies, but of course I changed some things and stuff like that, but you have an idea of how to structure your case study. Here are some assets, also like some visuals and stuff. For example, in here, this case study in particular, it's a career assessment microsite. The majority of us who go to college and stuff like that, you take one of those tests just to make sure if you fit on a specific category, like industry and stuff like that. And for this particular one, it was pretty exciting to work on this one because we combined video and interactive video with a bunch of other stuff. But let's just start creating this case study. So first things first, press A and then just go into your sizes here. We're going to pick 1920 web. And then let's just rename this, case study. All right. So what we're going to do, since this is going to be long, so we're going to just make this long from the get-go, because I know we're going to be putting some of these components already in place. So I'm going to just make it super long. And then I'm going to leave this blue bar there, which is kind of your marker for the, when you scroll down, you'll see you can only view this the viewport, and then you can scroll down to other areas. So we're going to start right away, and we're going to start pulling things from here. So I'm going to just pull probably these two, just paste it in here, something like that. Make sure if you want to align everything, that everything is within there. With your guidelines, maybe we can do something else here. Maybe we can have a title and then we have some sort of image somewhere. And make sure also to use your white space. Make sure like you have sufficient space so you can showcase everything. Because remember, case studies are supposed to be long. It's packed with a lot of information. It's packed with your design thinking and your design process. You gotta let some of those components breathe a little bit, so that way they can easily digest the information. Introduction, what's the project scope, the tools that you use. This is kind of like one way to do things, but you can definitely like be creative and do so many different things in here. All right, so okay, we got the introduction already. Let's just pull probably this one, and hold down Option or Alt on your PC, and then just like maybe like about there. Make sure you have, like I said before, a lot of space so they can breathe and they can read your stuff. That's perfect. All right, we're going to go with the next section, which is stating the problem, which is kind of cool. This is how you talk about the problem. What was it that you were trying to solve, right? Maybe like about there. Maybe you can go even like, I don't know, maybe like even further and just create a section here. Maybe we're gonna just like create a background section for this problem section. All right, we're gonna send it back. I'm gonna pick just any color, just send it back. It's just Command or Control bracket, left bracket, so that way you see the whole thing and you bring it back. That's perfect. Maybe like about there, and then what you can either, I don't know, for this one you can probably pick the orange color that we're using and then just make it like super light, like probably about, I don't know, 6, 7 maybe. Make sure like you have enough contrast so people can read your stuff. Maybe that works. Maybe we can go even like, I don't know, like a 4% of opacity. Maybe like about there, just to break it a little bit. I think that's good. Then from there, maybe we can do like some sort of visuals. Maybe let's see what else can we do here. All right, understanding the problem. Maybe we can add maybe this one. Just copy and paste, or just drag it in there. So you see how this is laid out. It's in a way that you can read it, but also it has a lot of room so you can digest all the information. So if I go in here and I just preview this, I just want to preview it. There you go. So career assessment, microsite, you scroll down, perfect. You can read introduction, tools, some visuals, understanding the problem, a little quote here, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so this is what it's about. It's about, having a storytelling approach, and at the same time, because we're using a lot of text and, quotes and stuff like that and graphics, and you have to spread it out. You have to make it work. All right, so I think so far so good. All right, we're gonna continue adding more and more stuff. Okay, we're gonna bring probably my role into the picture here. So we're gonna just paste that in there. Maybe this one we just leave it blank, like super white. Maybe like about there. We have like 280 pixels margin between components, so that's good. Maybe let's see what else can we do here. Maybe we can add some, I don't know, maybe the wireframes. Can just copy and paste here. All right, so I'm gonna bring this down a little bit and just a tiny bit, like about there maybe. And maybe just give us some room so they can see the whole thing. It's very important for you to, give context of the things that you are doing, right? Like, for example, this one, we know that these are wireframes, so you can, simply like label them or something like that, like stage 1 wireframes or something, so they know where they are when they are reviewing or reading your case study. So wireframes, for example, we can do that. Wireframes, let's just pick the same color as this. Okay, so this is just for me to, have something in there. And I don't know, maybe just like make it a little bit bigger. Maybe instead of using regular, we're going to use maybe a light version of that, and a little bit smaller. So that way they know like what they're looking at right now. Like they probably know is a wireframe, but just like make sure you give context of everything that you're putting in there. All right, so we talk about the role already. Let's see, we can talk about probably some maybe add the solution section. So let's do that right now. We're gonna add the solution here. Maybe for this one, I don't know. What if we go crazy and do something totally different? So let's do that right now. Let's get creative. All right. So we're going to add a background color here. And maybe what we're going to do is just, I'm going to just put this one on the side here. Maybe this will be white. Bear with me. And then what we're going to use is probably that orange color. Let me see if I put it in here. No, I did not, but we can just do it right away. We can click on it, just go to the color tab and just like click on the plus. So that way you have your color and you can reuse it anytime. Hold on one second. We're going to go into the background. Probably this is way too harsh on the eye, but we'll do something about it. Give me 1 second. So let's do something like, I don't know, maybe like this. Maybe this is way too hard on the eyes. So what we have to do is just like make it, like a little bit, I don't know, darker, but make sure it doesn't hurt your eyes. Maybe this one could be a variation of this orange maybe, but then we will change it a tiny bit. I don't know, we just like going with the we have right now. Oh, maybe we can, oh yeah, I just thought of something right now. So as the solution, then what we're gonna do, this is a trick that I like to do sometimes. All right, so I'll put it here and then I'll make it darker than this one. So I'm gonna go super dark. I'm gonna go and send it back, command left bracket, and then double click on this and then grab this corner and just pull it up here maybe. All right, we will have to go even zoom in and just like make sure that's lined up. So we're going to double click and just like line it up with your, like about there. Still. So let's zoom in more. All right. So like around there. All right. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Maybe we can add some sort of maybe icon in there or something for the solution. It's just like, try to make it creative, try to make it like interesting to look at when they're reading your stuff. Make sure your contrast is like, is there. If you need to test some stuff, there's some great sites out there that you can color contrast and check the color contrast to make sure your text is readable and it's legible. Make sure you save your stuff as always. And then let's keep going. Let's go into, what is it? This is kind of like the Solution section, maybe your research section is next. So we're gonna grab this and probably grab this whole thing. I'm gonna just copy both. I'm gonna go into my design. I'm gonna paste that in. Great. So this goes here maybe. This one probably, let me just bring it. Let me go into the folder. Let me just like get it out of that group so that way I can just like grab things and like move it around pretty quick. All right, so let's see. So we have the user research here. This is very important, guys. Like if you don't have research, I would suggest you to have some, some small research. You can do your own research. There's so many great platforms out there that allows you to create small research for user interviews, for testing, for whatever you need. If you have like college projects and stuff like that, you can definitely do some research and then grab that data and put it in your case study. Is very, very important that you give some context on how you come up with that design decision, right? Data, it's here to help us understand users' problems, and they give you insights about what is going on with your product and why is it working, why is it not working. So we're gonna make this a little bit longer because we were running out of space. Okay, that's perfect. If the more research that you have, the better. Like I said, case studies are very long. They're supposed to be long because you need to showcase your design skills and your design thinking about solving a problem. And then putting everything in there with context will give them a better idea of how you work and, what type of approach you take for specific projects and stuff like that. So make sure you kind of like showcase that through your case studies. All right, so we have some cool options here. Maybe for this, what I'll do is I'll create a background and just have like a light gray background for this one. So that way we break it apart a little bit. So if you want to send that back, let's just change the color so you can see it. All right, so send it back by pressing Command left bracket. That's great, but we need to make it a little bit taller maybe. Like about there. This is great, perfect, perfectly aligned. Maybe just grab these two and group them together by pressing Command J, Control J on your PC. That is awesome. That's great. There's some margins between each component, and then we're going to change this color into something super light. Maybe this color is kind of nice. So we're gonna pick that color. I'm using the eyedropper. Okay, we're gonna jump in there. And we see, okay, we can probably make it a little bit lighter because I wanted to be able to read all the stuff that is behind it. Perfect. All right, that is great. Let's see what else we have. What else do we have here? All right, so we have all of that fun stuff. We have some other assets here that we can definitely use. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Probably add in like this one for some visuals. And let's go in there and just add that in there somehow and give some context of what this is. This is part of the actual experience for that particular microsite. It's just part of the visuals to break it a little bit more. And then finally, let's see what else. We do have the outcome here. So we could just gonna copy this and maybe paste that in here. Maybe the outcome, we just leave it white so that way we can, people can read it very nicely. at the bottom. This is very important. The outcome, or whatever you want to call it, conclusion, outcome. This is where you talk about you can, or you can have different sections where you have your learnings, your trade-offs, your design trade-offs, the team. How do you work with the team? How do you feel about it? What do you learn about it? What was wrong with when you were working on this type of project? They want to know all of that stuff and how you tackle all those little issues and problems and trade-offs and stuff like that. They want to know that. So make sure you include that in your case study for sure. Then finally, we're going to just add this bad boy. Just kind of like the design. And they, like I said, they can be, take the storytelling approach and just like, we can add this, probably here, and then put this one at the bottom maybe, and just add this one up here. Let me just bring it back. We will have to make this a little bit taller. Don't be afraid of how long this is. It's supposed to be like that. Some of my mentees, they ask me like, well, it's way too long and people are not going to read it. Yes, they are going to read it. Case studies are supposed to be long. They're supposed to be, of course you don't want it to, put whatever in there and just like text and just like be kind of boring. You got to make sure like you add some context and also some, like dynamic, and you make sure like people can read your stuff, but also they can enjoy the visuals and the things that you're saying. Just be creative when you're creating your case study. All right. So I think that's pretty neat. I think we cover like almost like everything. So I'm just going to tune in a few little things in here. And like, for example, like this is way too tall. So what I'm going to do is just like, I don't know, like bring it up a little bit and just probably add a footer section here. Maybe, I don't know, just like a divider or a line or something. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead into document assets, and I'm just gonna pick the color, the primary color that we're using for this case study. Maybe we're gonna do something like this. We can be very creative, and we can just like, I don't know, maybe just, I like to experiment. Every time I'm doing something, I like to do things just to see how they look. Maybe this is fine how it is right now. Let me just like make it a little bit bigger and then just duplicate this, Command D, and then probably change that color, sending it back. Let's see. So let's just send it back, Command left bracket, and then just like turning this a little bit so we have some angles and some stuff. I don't know. I'm just like playing around just to make sure like it's not that boring. It's kind of like cool. I don't know. Maybe something like that. It could work either way, or just like a simple plain rectangle might work. All right. So let's test this out. I know the time is pretty close. Let me just resize this again, and let's just scroll down. We have the introduction. We have the understanding the problem component, some visuals. Okay, we have my role. You kind of like explain your role, what you did there, how do you work with the team and everything. Then some wireframes, some visuals again. Then the solution, make sure like you add some design elements to emphasize things. Like the solution is the actual thing that you come up with, the solution for the problem. So make sure you highlight that section like we did here. Make sure your contrast is on point. The research, perfectly, add all your research in there always. Okay, we have some other, UX research. If you did everything that you did, customer journey map, empathy map, whatever, put it in there and give context. Okay, finally, some final designs. And lastly, the outcome. And this is, explaining what was the outcome, your learnings, and everything else. And then kind of like some supporting visuals. But yeah, that's how you are supposed to kind of like structure your case studies. Of course, every project calls for a different UX process and also different ways to approach and present your work. But make sure you present your work, your case studies, by using the storytelling approach. I hope you like this. I really enjoy this challenge, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.